Today's spirit practice is part of a larger series that is connected to and all about the four elements. So today we're going to talk about earth. I'm going to give you some background information on the energy of earth and give you practices for connecting more deeply with it. So as we begin, it's important to share that a large part of shamanic practice is about relationships. Creating relationships and engaging in relationships with the spirit world, with the natural world, with the heart or the consciousness of humanity, with our own bodies. Relationships. And relationships are give and a take, and ask and a receive. In shamanic practice, there's room for both. And as you listen today, I want you to really think about your connection with the energy of earth. Because a lot of times it's really conceptual. But the connection with earth can be really visceral and more heart-based than head-based. So I'm going to give you some concepts today that will hopefully help you to understand and give earth as an element and earth as a directional energy a frame of reference for some of the work that we'll be doing. And so I'm going to talk about this element of earth as it pertains to us. Everyday, modern human beings who are walking a sacred path. I'm going to do this with the background of an indigenous view of the characteristics of the earth. I'm going to give you an overview of the medicine wheel, not as a teaching, not as a medicine wheel teaching, because I'm not qualified to do that, but giving you the understanding of the concept of the medicine wheel is going to be helpful in you understanding the bigger picture and having a frame of reference for why we're even focusing on the elements, or what, how it fits into the larger scheme of spiritual practice. And then after I do that, I'll talk about ways that you can work in, I'll talk about spirit practices that you can put right into action. So we're going to do this in a way that works for non-Indigenous people. But to Indigenous people, the elements are a fundamental part of life, not something to be studied, but something to be experienced, revered, and engaged with on a regular basis. And the medicine wheel is an Indigenous view, or offers an Indigenous view of the world. And by the way, medicine wheel is something that Europeans and Americans termed it. I believe that in Indigenous cultures, it's often referred to as the sacred circle or the sacred hoop. And the names for it, the medicine wheel itself, are, and the significance is culture specific to tribes, clans, bands, and nations who engage with this sacred hoop or medicine wheel as a way of life. So what am I talking about when I'm talking about the medicine wheel? I'm talking about, and you've probably seen this, a circle that has a cross inside, so that the circle is broken down into 4 quarters with intersecting lines. And this simple diagram, this simple image or energy, it's signifies life and the circle of life. And in cultures that hold medicine wheel teachings, they incorporate teachings on culture, identity, pride, confidence, relationships, responsibilities, feelings. All aspects of life can be described and explained through this very simple concept of the wheel with 4 quarters in it. And the energy of those within those sectors have been attributed to represent some of the following. So the 4 quarters, or the 4 energies in the circle, represent the 4 elements. The east, or the 4 directions, the east, the south, the west, and the north, represents the 4 seasons: spring, summer, winter, fall. The 4 stages of life: birth, youth, adult, death. The 4 times of day: sunrise, noon, sunset, midnight. The 4 elements: earth, air, fire, water. The 4 races of man: red, yellow, white, and black. The 4 heavenly beings: the sun, the moon, the earth, and the stars. There are so many, there's so many more. And this wheel illustrates the process of how life evolves and how all things are connected. We're going to be working with the elements that are found in that wheel. And we're going to be working with the elements that are found in that wheel. And the first one we're working with is Earth. So first we'll talk a little bit about the elements and the energy of Earth. And then we'll focus on practical ways that we can engage with the Earth. And I'm excited to hear what this brings up for you and what you have to share about your connection already with Earth. So we know that the 4 elemental energies provide the basics of life for us. They structure our reality. We live on Earth. If we didn't have Earth, we would have no place to live. Our life force is sustained through food that's grown on the Earth and through water that comes with the Earth. We could not live without either food or water. Air, we breathe air every day. We take it for granted, but the element of air is crucial in our survival. And the element of fire is also crucial. The sun, from which we get nutrients and which allows us to see, is a ball of fire. So that's the energy of fire. We also work with fire to heat our food, to heat our homes. So these elements are not just elements. They're really structures for our reality, and they provide the basics of life. And within each of those elements, there are worlds to experience. There are teachings and relationships to cultivate that will show us how to live life, how to navigate life, how to negotiate life. And within those elements, there are often spirit helpers and allies that can guide us based on what we need more or less of in our life. Sometimes we need a little more fire. Sometimes we need a little less water. So understanding these foundational energies and learning how to interact with them can help us to grow and understand ourselves and our relationship to the rest of the world and the natural world. And so as we start with Earth, we know that Earth provides us with food, provides us with shelter, it provides us with medicine, all of which are super important for our everyday lives. Some different names for Earth, indigenous names are Turtle Island, Pachamama. The Earth is looked at as a living, breathing, sentient being by shamanic peoples and First Nations peoples. And we would define Earth, as the planet that we live on, dirt and rocks and stones and roots. There's actually biological evidence that when you spend time in the Earth, it increases your serotonin level. So we are meant to be in the Earth, and we need to be in the Earth a little bit more. And any of you who garden or plant trees or spend time hiking, you know how crucial it is to be outdoors and how much it feeds you on a regular basis when you engage and spend a lot of time outside. In modern shamanic practices, some of which I'm teaching you here in the Path to Power, recognize the connection with Earth recognize the Earth as being a gateway for particular guides, helpers, and allies. A lot of times they're ones that have to do with, or they're guides or allies that are connected, or they're animals or insects or winged ones that we connect with. We work with earth energies or lower world energies to help us with practical matters. We also can work with the earth energies when we want to connect in with the energy of a place. We work with earth energies when we want to understand what's happening in a house or on a piece of land. We communicate with energies. So you can communicate with those energies. You can communicate with the earth itself. You can communicate with the spirit of the earth. You can communicate with the spirit of the land on a particular or at a particular place in the earth. And you can also communicate with the ancestors of the land on a particular piece of earth. So learning to communicate and ask questions and listen with Earth itself, it behooves you not only in your personal spiritual work, but in really listening to what's needed on the planet and coming from the planet right now. So, in addition to all of that, there's another point of view or a few more aspects of Earth energy that a lot of people are familiar with. And this lens is more of the sort of pagan European spiritual lens that's derived from pre-Christian practices. And in that sort of frame of reference, the Earth has to do with fertility, prosperity, material well-being, abundance, healing, and nourishment. So we have a lot of there's a lot that in our lives that we might seek or search for that we can have answered and supported by going more deeply into our connection with the Earth. And it's always easier when you have like a big sentient being. It's easier to have a kind of like a gateway in or a way to communicate with a big sentient being. And in shamanic practices, there are earthly connections that we make through locations on the earth, through plants, through animals, which often serve as contact points for us. And they also serve as contact points for deeper connection with the earth. And so what's helpful is to take some time to discover if there's a particular ally or spirit helper for you that can teach you about the earth, help you communicate with the earth, bring wisdom from the earth to you, and help you understand and get answers to everyday practical matters. So our spirit practice for this month is connected to dropping more deeply into the connection that you have with the earth. When you do that, and I'll talk about exactly what to do in a minute. When you do that, you can learn how to manage your energy better and become more grounded. You can also maintain your foundation, including ancestor work, or including your connection to the ancestors if you're going to go in that direction. But you can maintain your foundation, your roots, where you come from and how you settle and how you walk in the world. You can also help you to understand and communicate with the beautiful network of trees, of the trees and the tree roots that are on the earth. So there are a lot of things that our connection with the earth will help with. So of course you can go outside and talk to the trees anytime you want. And 2 options for spirit practice for today are, number 1, to do a journey if you're already journeying, and to journey into the earth and ask if there's an ally or a spirit helper to help you with earth-related matters, practical matters of foundations, everyday questions and information that you might seek. So doing your journey work protocol and traveling into the earth, journeying into the lower world, to ask if there's an ally specifically related to earth. And often that ally is one that can help with physical healing, but not limited to physical healing. So that would be a first journey to do if you want to journey. A second journey would be, once you find and recognize them, identify them, would be to establish a connection with them. Establish a connection. Ask them to share with you their truth. Ask them to share with you about what you need to know about your connection with the earth. And then a third journey, if you should so choose, would be to ask this ally that's connected to the earth what you need for your own physical healing. So that's a little journey work sequence if you choose to journey. First would be journey into the lower world to ask if there's an ally that's specific to earth-related matters. Second journey would be to establish a connection with them. Third journey would be to ask them what you need for physical healing. And if you're going to do those journeys, I would do them in order. You can just do the first one, or you can do all three. Do each one separately. We always take one intention into the journey so that we can differentiate and understand some of the information that we're retrieving. So that's the first choice for a spirit practice. If you don't want to journey, or you don't know how to journey yet, or just don't, feel like going that route, I'm going to include a meditation that's called Down in the Earth that will actually take you to connect in with the earth to receive healing, or perhaps meet a guide there in the earth. So overall, you've got some ideas for ways to connect to the earth and open to the earth energy in new ways. I want you, once you've digested this and chose what you were going to do, hop on over to the group and let us know what you learned. Let us know what you'll choose to explore. All right. I will talk to you soon. Have a beautiful day.